far can you go if you have one of the best rosters in football and you're not winning a championship? That's all I'm asking.
I mean, you just keep
Because
That's a good question. That's a very good question.
you can't answer.
As you can
I don't
hear.
even know. I already know who you're talking about. I just walked in and know exactly who you're talking about.
You can't answer.
Jason,
Oh, I
You
know that. I don't.
know about all this. Well, actually, you do. How much longer Dave Roberts gonna be there?
So Dave Roberts gonna be all right. I think. I hope. I pray. Ask me in November. Ask me in November. You know me. I don't get too hyped about the Dodgers until I get my heart broken around my birthday every year.
These pesky Diamondbacks coming out of nowhere. Where is that coming from?
Who knows? It happens every year.
In baseball, yeah, like teams just sprout up out of nowhere.
Never happens with the Rockies though. Rockies are always in last place.
I mean, once every 10 years or so.
Last year?
No, the Rockies. I believe I have this correct. They've never won the NL West. They came into Major League Baseball in 1993.
Oh, when they went to the World Series, they were the wild card?
Yep.
I remember
they won that. They beat the Padres in the wild card game.
Oh, okay.
They've never won the NL West. That's almost amazing.
Jason Jones.
They've had some talent. So, I mean, that just sounds crazy. I'm like, Larry Walker and those guys didn't win one?
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, well.
Castilla, Dante Bichette, Eric Young,
Troy Tulowitzki.
And they're still more popular. They're still more popular than the Nuggets. It's crazy. They still more popular in Denver than the Nuggets. Like, how? How is that possible? I don't know.
Maybe because George Karl's on Twitter raising havoc and getting Kenyon Martin and them hyped up.
Could be that.
It was J.R. Smith. Now it's Kenyon Martin. What you think about the final so far, man? I thought game one was boring as all hell. I thought game two was the exact opposite. I really enjoyed it. Are you like, are you like one of the people like, oh, you're crazy if you thought game one was boring? I didn't think it had any type of juice. Wait,
I'm sorry. Did someone say that?
Well, James looked at me crazy.
Well, no, we looked at you crazy because you were like, this series sucks. It's like, wait, it's like maybe the game.
It didn't
and you just kept going, yawn.
The game one was
every time we'd say so,
yawn. It was a yawn. Game one.
No, the game was bad, but
I didn't see it getting any better.
I think that's where it was like, well, wait.
Yeah, I think I was cooking dinner or something during game one, or just. I mean, to me, almost every series has at least one game where I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And I think too, it's just a different vibe nowadays. So back in the day, like now I feel like an old man. The game was an event. You had to sit in front of the TV. Like I can put the game on my phone and do other stuff and still like kind of be watching it. But game two was definitely more fun. I mean, I think everyone kind of felt like if the Nuggets was going to beat them up for 4 or 5 games, no one wants to watch this. But I think Spo. I think Spo uses that zone as well as any coach in the NBA. Probably the best when he throws it at you. And what makes their zone so good is that it's not kind of a last resort. You could tell they practice it because they can still kind of rebound out of it. You could tell when those teams just throw it out there like, okay, we have no idea. Let's just throw a zone out there. So, I mean, I figured that, Miami wouldn't get swept. Did I think they would get game two in Denver? Probably not. But, hey, at this point, it's kind of crazy to doubt Miami's going to do something to me, at least at this point right now.
I don't think we talked about it, Damian, but did you see when Coach Spo called myself and Steve Kerr, what do you say, untrained eye? Or something?
Untrained eye, yeah.
When he said, for those who said we made Jokic a score, that's just something ridiculous said by the untrained eye.
Yeah.
And I was like, sorry, Spo.
Steve Kerr's at home like, dang, I didn't know I was so untrained.
Well, the funny thing was, shout out again, and then the second time his name, Tim McMahon from the Hoop Collective podcast, they talked to Mike Brown. I don't know.
About a week ago, right? I think
it was before the series started. And he essentially, the gist of the scoring thing was, don't let him get everybody else going. Don't let him get 12, 13, 14 assists, because that's where you're cooked. Because he's capable of scoring on every possession. If he gets Jamal Murray feeling like he can score at every possession,
KCP.
you're done. Like, you don't have enough answer for that. And
That's
that
what I
was
said before they played the Lakers. I said you can't let them get the 30, 20, and the 14 assists.
Mhm.
You know, and if you're going to and I think people are kind of jumping the wrong way when you say, well, you let him be a scorer. They did, he's going to score. I mean, on a bad game, he's getting like 25. I mean, he's not going to have like a 10-point game. I mean, he's just too good. He's got a lot's got to go wrong for him to not score. But they did, the difference was Jamal Murray didn't become, the second, incarnation of, I don't know, Tracy McGrady or whoever it was, a couple of weeks ago. Michael Porter Jr. wasn't, Kevin Durant or, it just, you can't let everyone get going. And I think Miami, I like what Kerr said. He said Miami pretty much said, you know what? We've got to take out Jamal Murray. And, and I think it's a smart thing because you're not going to stop Joker. I mean, they run too much through him. He has the ball too much. He's going to board. He's going to score. He's going to find guys. But you just can't let everyone, get going. In that game one, I mean, you got KCP going. Everyone's going. So, and plus, a lot of times these coaches really overreact during press conferences. They really overreact. That's why a lot of times I don't care about watching them because I don't believe a good portion of what's being said.
Untrained eyes.
Yeah, the untrained, maybe he didn't like the phrasing of let him be a scorer. I don't know, but like I said, a lot of these guys overreact way too often in these pressers. Sometimes like, how dare you ask me that? It's like, I didn't know there was a list of things we shouldn't dare to ask you. I mean, there are bad questions.
There definitely are.
I mean, let me preface by saying there are bad questions, but I didn't think that was the worst question in the world for Spo to be like, oh my God, to give us the you media people don't know what you're talking about. Didn't have Steve Kerr and Draymond have a podcast saying the exact same thing. So that was the best part for me.
What did you, speaking of Steve Kerr, what did you think about the remarks he made about everyone on Miami buying into their role? And then he kind of gave Draymond the old reference of, we know what it's like when everyone's not buying in and they're coming into the locker room and they're complaining about playing time and I should have played more and all of those different things and how magical it is when the group is cohesive. What did you think about Steve Kerr throwing that line out there for everybody to interpret how they wish?
Steve's just having fun with us. I mean, now
how much fun do you think Jonathan Kuminga had with it?
Probably not a lot.
I'm guessing he didn't have a lot. Or I mean, there's probably a list of players that didn't find that line as very amusing.
Yeah, shoot, Kevin Durant might not have found it amusing for all we know.
Well, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
sure. I mean, you've got 10 years of Golden State Warrior teams that are like, wait a minute.
There's a bunch of guys going. David Lee's like, hold up, you talking about me? Yeah. I mean, we can go back away. They've been together so long. That could be anybody. But it's true. I mean, when you have, that can really throw off the chemistry if you don't have a strong leadership core in a locker room. But I think in Miami, we all know Pat Riley runs that. We know he's empowered Spo. So, even LeBron James wasn't going to run Spo out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
tried.
Yeah. So when you've got a power structure in place and the leadership is clear, guys can try it, but usually the majority can make those people either fall in line or they get them out that locker room.
It really feels like they're just gonna run this thing back in Golden State. Like I think they're gonna try to move on from Jordan Poole and maybe even Jonathan Kuminga. But the funny thing about that is, if you do that, if you try to move on from those guys and leave the vets, the core there, who are you going to get? Like, what position is this person that you move on Jordan Poole for? What's he gonna play?
Mm-hmm.
He's not starting at point. You're not starting at the 2, not starting at the 3, not at the 4. And I don't know, maybe you get a center, maybe. But and then why are you trading Jordan Poole for a guy that you can't even have in your starting lineup? So I think they're running it all back.
I mean, this time of year, we get so many dumb things out there. I mean, who knows what this stuff is going to look like in October? I mean, for God's sake, either Kyrie or LeBron's playing GM again. I think LeBron has lost his GM rights. I don't think he should. If he hasn't lost them already in LA, they should have been revoked.
GM, that's hilarious.
But I mean, I think just financially, I mean, you've got the salaries the Warriors have, you're limited. I mean, I think probably the craziest thing you probably could do is just blow the whole thing up and keep Steph and build around him. But how happy would Steph be if you get rid of Clay and you get rid of all his homies?
Well, I think there's question of would Steph even be okay if you got rid of Draymond?
It's a good point, yeah. So I mean, yeah, we can have fun. ESPN trade machine works, so we can all go in there and create trades.
Worst thing ever.
It is fun. I started covering the NBA in 2009. Even back then, coaches and players and GMs all said that's the worst thing ever put on the internet. That's the worst thing they ever invented was the trade machine, because once it says it works, you're like, why don't you make this deal? It makes sense. They had a guy, Laker guy on Twitter yesterday trying to convince me that he created a trade for LeBron that made sense.
Oh, lost me there.
And I told him I'd rather let LeBron retire than take Maxi Kleber, Dave Bertans, and Tim Hardaway. He's like, well, what about Jalen Hardy? I don't care.
So really the dumbest thing about all of that, because what you should do is eliminate everyone's name, because all you're doing on the trade machine is trading contracts.
Yeah.
Right.
You're trying to make finances work. You're not trading for players. You're making money work. That's what the trade machine is. That's why it's the stupidest thing ever created. It has nothing to do with a team or players. It just has to do with what their contracts are.
Or logic.
Right there. There is not a logic. That's what they should do. That would impress me about the trade machine. Okay, it works. Logic factor on a scale of 1 to 10 is 0.
You're better off going on 2K and trade. At least 2K will reject a trade.
And now there's a penalty that says you've been banned from using the trade machine for 30 days.
What is that, like the timeout here in the chatty house?
Yes, a second infraction will result in a 3 month ban. Further infractions for stupid trade ideas will result in permanent suspension.
Yeah, but I mean, for this business, it's great for content because we can sit around and figure out, what trade works for Harrison Barnes, what team should take Rashawn Holmes, why would this trade work? And it would be like, and I always tell people, before you send me these things, ask me, why would the other team do this?
Yep.
Why? What reason would this team have to take all of your crap for their star?
Mm-hmm. Where do you think Kyrie is playing next season?
Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought I've never bought into that he's going to be a Laker thing because one, I just don't think with the window they have with LeBron, can you trust Kyrie? I mean, and like I think I said last week, somebody told me at the trade deadline, hope Cuban has fun when that guy starts ruining their team.
Oh, Kyrie ain't gonna do that.
No, I'm serious. I couldn't stop laughing yesterday. I could not stop laughing yesterday at he wants to create a big three of LeBron, Luka, and himself. Okay, they're gonna play with 3 basketballs. That would be fun. I mean, you got 3 guys just.
Just dribbling.
I mean, I couldn't stop laughing, and I hope fans are understanding that. And people are saying, well, why are they talking about this? I hope people understand. This comes from like their people. This isn't just out of people don't make this stuff up. They want this stuff out there, and even the one report about the Mavs explored trading for LeBron during the season. LeBron wasn't eligible to be traded. I'm just like, maybe Kyrie's on the trade machine. It's just, I've always thought he was going to stay. I mean, you look at the money on the table. the fact that Dallas has to do something because you let Kyrie walk. You got, it's only a matter of time before Luka says, "Get me out of here," and that may happen anyway. But I can't see another team desperate enough to put a max deal out there for Kyrie. I mean, if this was the Lakers pre-trade deadline, maybe, but they could honestly say to themselves, you know what? For all the headache and drama, we'll just bring D'Angelo back and deal with that before we bring in a guy who may be unavailable because he wants to go sit on Zoom or
he wants to go on a spiritual quest.
I'm not gonna lie. What if LeBron says, "I don't like that idea of bringing D'Angelo back"? Because I don't think bringing D'Angelo back is the answer. So what if he's like, "I want Kyrie"? I mean, that's what a lot of people. Damien didn't buy into it. I speculated that LeBron is trying to put pressure on the Lakers.
He is. I think he definitely is. But I also think that when he does that, Rob Pelinka should just go back to, was it 2021, and say Russell Westbrook. That was you and AD, le GM and assistant, AD assistant GM. This is what you want, and look what it got us. And I think if as a Lakers franchise, if Kobe Bryant, remember when Kobe tried to take over, hold them, basically hostage, like, you better trade me or else. And I think at this point, Jeannie goes back to the kind of channels her dad and says, "No, you can retire, but we're not going to cave in to just because you want this."
Wasn't the deal with Chicago really close?
From what I heard, actually, it wasn't Chicago. The deal that was close was Detroit.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was. Well, you would know better than I would, Jason. But
I want to say, it was.
Wow, dang, he didn't. Yeah. He didn't want to. They didn't want to include him in the deal, or something. No, Kobe didn't want the Bulls to include Luol Deng in the deal.
And I think I forgot who told the story in one of the docs I watched. It might have been in that Laker doc where the trade that would have been done was Detroit, where basically they were going to get damn near the entire roster from the Pistons, and Vanessa didn't want to live in Detroit.
Well,
if I remember correctly from the story, Vanessa was like, "No."
So cold in the deep.
Can't blame her.
Yeah, so it was like, no, we're not going to force your way out of LA to go play in Auburn Hills.
Right.
And if anyone who's never, now you wouldn't know because they play downtown. There was nothing fun about going all the way out to Auburn Hills at all. At all.
Awful.
They had a nice little White Castle over by the one Marriott that I would go to, a little Mexican restaurant right by the Marriott in Pontiac. But
that's not a good enough reason.
Yeah, there really was no reason to be in Auburn Hills at all. It's just like, why is this way out here?
In comparison, how like here in Sacramento, where's Auburn Hills?
Like about 30, 40 minutes from Detroit.
Almost an hour.
From downtown.
Yeah,
you'd be going definitely past Folsom.
Yeah,
you're talking about Placer.
Oh,
yeah. I remember because when I would book my travel and would ever get a car, you had to give yourself an extra hour to get to the airport because you needed about an hour to get there. And one time I got to the airport and the next game was in Cleveland and the flight got delayed. The worker told me, "You drove from Auburn Hills here. You could have just stayed in the car for 2 more hours and you'd have been in Cleveland." Oh. So the next time I was out there, I drove from Auburn Hills to Cleveland.
There you go.
And I said, that's a good tip. Because she was like, by the time this delay is over, you could have been in Cleveland already. I'm like, really? It's I can completely understand Vanessa having been out there saying, "I don't want any parts of that."
Live in Auburn Hills. Give me a break. Here's a confession in relation to Jason Jones' latest article over on The Athletic. I've never owned a pair of Chuck Taylors before.
How?
I never have. I've eyeballed a pair for about 3 years and have never pulled the trigger on them.
Likewise.
Yeah, I've never owned a pair of Chuck Taylors.
Maybe it's an LA thing. I don't know.
I'm gonna get some this summer. I do want some.
Almost everybody I know. When I wrote the story, I was kind of like, maybe this is like a little too niche. Like this is just like maybe a me thing. But I looked at our numbers. I'm like, oh wow, people are like going crazy over this. Like,
No,
I think I
me-
channeled every reader we have over 50 or 60 in the comments. They're like, I
Yeah.
played ball on those. I was like, wow, you played ball on Chucks?
Well,
now you've gone too
well.
damn far there.
Hey, Wilt got 100 points in Chucks.
Allegedly.
We still have no proof that he actually.
We still have no proof at all.
Yeah.
Odds are you have owned a pair. Your parents probably did too. Man,
I'm getting a pair
Goodness.
this summer, man. I'm getting a pair.
I should preface this. We were broke growing up. Like I didn't start getting shoes till like I was like 20 something. That's when I started getting like shoes, and we started having money like later, but like really like getting shoes like I was in my 20s, and I got my first pair of like brand new Jordans for free. When I've told the story before. When I worked at KSFM, the first major event I did was the Jordan truck event, and they fitted you out in Jordan gear and clothes. So I didn't have so I obviously I fell in love with Jordans. I was always in love with Jordans because I couldn't afford them.
Yeah.
And like I had as a kid, like I had LA Gears.
Me too.
And I remember the shoes that I splurged on, and they were inexpensive. The first like real shoe I had that I could was the Grant Hill, the Fila. And that was in comparison, that was like $40-$50 less.
Yeah.
Sure. I had the Stackhouses, the Fila Stackhouses.
Yeah. The Stackhouse. Oh, I remember.
That was like my first like player shoe. I had a pair of Converse Weapons when I was a kid, like in 3rd, 4th grade, because I was already wearing like men's size shoes, so my shoes looked better. But that was like my one like wow shoe before times got tougher, and I was in XJ 900s for the summer, and Pro Wings and all that stuff. So yeah, I kind of make up for my shoe thing, not having them, now. But it's crazy to kind of working on that story. They have redone the inside of the Chuck, so they do feel better now.
Okay.
So I wear them to this day, and I guess Devin Booker has and has a line of them he endorses. Like Devin Booker wears them all the time.
Oh yeah.
This is one. Jason's incredible at what he does. This is a tremendous article with great visuals, and only our guy is going to make sure he works WWE superstars into his story about Chuck Taylors.
Who wore Chucks? I gotta see this.
You got to go read it.
Yeah,
it's in there. There's WWE superstar references in this article.
Hey, you see things at WrestleMania weekend and go, hey, why are you wearing those? And you get a great story about Chucks being unaffordable in New Zealand.
Wow.
It's a true story. Wow. This is Jay. This is great. This is you kind of you was kind of in your bag with this one.
Happening.
This is pretty dope.
Thanks. This is one I've wanted to do for a while, so it was like kind of took a lot.
These Devin Booker joints is cold. These ones Devin Booker got on are nasty.
Booker. Where's Devin Booker from? He behaves like he's from LA though, but he's from like Michigan or something, isn't he?
I forget where Devin Booker's from.
He behaves like he's from LA though.
Yeah, with the cars and everything, and the cars and the Chucks. Maybe it's like a subliminal that he's trying to get to the Lakers. That's what Twitter's going to say. See, Devin Booker.
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yeah, I knew he was from Michigan. And matter of fact, I knew that because Floyd Mayweather's hometown, Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Hey, wow.
Great stuff, Jay, man. We appreciate you as always. Again, you were in your bag with this one. This is prime Jason Jones over at The Athletic right here. This article entitled The Converse Chuck Taylor and Why It's Still the Greatest Shoe of All Time. You even learn who Chuck Taylor is.
You even learn why there's an ankle patch on the inside of the shoe.
Really great stuff. Jay, we appreciate you, my brother. Thanks for always making time.
I'll catch y'all next